Now, getting into chapter 249 of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is part 21 now of the Shinjuku Showdown. It starts off back with Yuta, who has just sliced off Kenjaku's head, and Kenjaku repeats himself, saying that his will shall be carried on. But this time around, we see the aftermath as Kenjaku's body starts to convulse. Yuta immediately jumps into action, calling upon Rika, and he notes in his head that he knew that killing Kenjaku would cause the spirit manipulation tied to Geto's body to go on a rampage. Suddenly, spirits and curses burst from Kenjaku's body, flying out in all directions. And Yuta is ready, slicing through some of them as they pour out of the forest. They start to swarm over the bridge, but Rika is there ready to crush them all. And as she blitzes the spirits, Kenjaku looks on from above as a curse has picked up his decapitated head and carried him away. And unexpectedly, he calls on Kogane and adds a new rule that will allow Megumi Fushiguro to be able to activate the merger of humanity. And well, from the last chapter to this one, we know damn well who actually is going to merge humanity. Yuta then looks up from the ground, dragging Takaba's body, and Kogane pops into existence, confirming the addition of the new rule. Kenjaku then tells Yuta that he needed a backup plan, and Sukuna has become the successor to his plan. He also confirms that he's used the rules of the culling game to overwrite who is able to control Tengen, which is just what I said in the last chapter. And within a weird stomach-looking thing on the cursed spirit, we see the baby form of Tengen, to which Yuta shouts up in surprise as Tengen curls up, bursts out the stomach, and rockets away from the forest towards Sukuna's location. Kenjaku, now suddenly with Yuta's sword embedded in his forehead, states that it wasn't 1,000 years worth of fun, but he was glad to have had some fun with Takaba before the end. And just before he dies, he menacingly states that they're all next, and he's sure it will be amusing. But before we get into the rest of the chapter, if you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps my small channel grow. Also, I've made a Patreon and it's in the description below. Support me if you'd like. Now, back at the fight in Shinjuku, Yuta, Sukuna, and Rika stare at each other in this western standoff, waiting for someone to make the first move. Yuta notes that Sukuna's reverse curse technique is returning, and that it's only a matter of time before he can use his domain again. He also thinks that because he didn't stay, Higuruma was defeated, and questions his own actions about whether or not he should have stayed and supported the executioner's sword plan, and also whether or not Maki would have been better for sneaking up on Kenjaku. But he stops himself from overthinking and reminds himself that Rika's power was necessary for controlling the outbreak of cursed spirits after Kenjaku's death. But suddenly, in the quickest of moments, Rika rushes in to obscure Sukuna's view, and Yuta leaps forward, using her cover to strike at Sukuna. But Sukuna just grabs the sword, or so it seems, as Yuta confirms that he's instead using a barrage of small slashing attacks to seize the blade without touching it. Almost like Gojo's Infinity. I mean, is there nothing this demon can't do? Yuta, however, lets go of the blade and Rika rushes into attack, which Sukuna defends against, but leaves himself open for Yuta to strike the mouth on his stomach, making it spit blood. But in that instance, Yuta grabs the blade again and slashes at Sukuna, who just dodges. They then attack, trading blows, and Yuta thinks to himself that he's just been making excuses. He actually wanted to defeat Kenjaku with his own hands, leading to this situation, which has now become his fault. So in front of Sukuna, he activates his ring, shouts domain expansion, and his domain immediately envelops Sukuna, and the next double page spread finally shows what Yuta's domain expansion looks like, and I mean, we have been waiting for literal years. I mean, the last time we saw a hint at his domain was in the three-way battle between Ishigori and Uro, the other two culling game players, and unfortunately we didn't get to see what it looked like since the three domains immediately broke. But we finally get to see it in all its glory, and oh, just look at this. It looks amazing with the battlefield of katanas in a ruined area. And along the outside of the domain are these ribbons, which are love knots called Mizuhiki, symbolizing love and forming of a bond, which plays into the name of the domain, that is authentic mutual love, or true love depending on the translations. And I mean, to be honest, I was expecting something a little cooler than that, but it does make a lot of sense since all the way back in Jujutsu Kaisen 0, Rika and Yuta's connection was all about true love, and she probably plays a big role in this domain expansion. But getting back into the chapter, Sukuna immediately opens up a hollow wicker basket to counter the domain, and Yuta grabs one of the swords before swinging it at Sukuna, hitting him in the arm. The sword suddenly crackles for a second and then explodes, with the name of this attack being shown as Thin Icebreaker, which is a hilarious dating pun in this fight now. The sword then disintegrates from Yuta's hand, and as he stands within the field of swords and vows to finish everything in this domain, Sukuna gets up from the smoking crater, and seemingly hurt by the attack, he understands that this was their second plan. Sukuna thinks to himself that he understands Yuta's curse technique to be copied from Megumi's memories, and they want to keep half of his body functions focused on using a hollow wicker basket to repel the domain's sure hit attack, which he derives to be Angel's curse technique that Yuta copied within his domain. And also to attack using unlimited copy basically. It's a little hard to explain. But suddenly we get a mini flashback of Yuji punching Sukuna, and to everyone's surprise, Yuji is in the domain with them both, which makes Sukuna saying them and they makes so much more sense. And Sukuna himself states that Yuji will be the one to deliver a blow that captures the soul and tears Sukuna from Megumi's body, which the mini flashback shows when Sukuna first noticed what Yuji's punch can do. He then stated that it's nice everyone has a role, and the chapter ends there with the final panels depicting yet another standoff. And what an incredible chapter we had, so many events. Yuta is getting absolutely serious, and we finally see what his domain is, and also Yuji joining in the domain to basically tag team Sukuna. Yuji's punch is finally given more context as well, and it's most definitely confirmed that since he can perceive the soul really well, he'll be able to basically punch Megumi out of Sukuna, which I hope to see. It's now coming to the end of the video, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I'm so happy you stopped by. My channel is steadily growing, and I'm amazed at the support I'm getting. And I also have a Patreon now, so feel free to support me however you like. The link will be in the description, and I will shout out names at the end of each video. Thank you again, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.